What's going on, you guys? Welcome YouTube to the channel. Today we're going to be painting this Honda S2000 valve cover, and as you can see with the age, this is off of an '05. The paint's gotten pretty bad, so it's got this like fire engine red paint, and it's pretty much deteriorated over time. Kind of give you guys a better look all around. It doesn't look all that great, but we're here to fix that, and it's gonna look great after we do that. Couple of the things we're gonna use today, I'll share with you guys. It's this aircraft remover paint. It's a paint remover. And so we're gonna spray this on here, and we're gonna go ahead and leave it on for about 45 minutes. And then that should take all this paint off. As you can see, this paint won't come off. I already took off some that was already peeling. And so this should help that quite a bit. And then after we have that off, we're gonna clean it off, sand it up a little bit, roughen it up. And then we're gonna spray the primer on it, which is a high temperature primer, and that will get the paint to stick on there really nice. And after that, we have this VHT Wrinkle Plus, because this is a little bit like wrinkled textured paint. So we're gonna go ahead and paint that valve cover with this paint here. And so let's get started. So first things first, you want to obviously prep the valve cover for paint or for the remover that we're going to be doing. So you take the things off like caps, because you know these things aren't really going to, the remover is going to mess them up. These holes here, I'm just going to be covering it up with tape, masking tape, and I actually have that right here. I'm just going to go ahead and use some regular masking tape for that. Other than that, these holes and these outlets, I'm gonna go ahead and tape those up. And then you want to go ahead and remove these, because if you get the aircraft remover or paint on this, it's going to cause these seals to leak into the spark plug sockets, and you don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and mask the valve cover holes up, basically get them ready for paint. You don't want any of the paint getting in there, or the aircraft remover to remove the paint. So we're going to go ahead and mask these ports up, mask it off with just some regular masking tape, and spray on the aircraft remover. Then gonna get these. You know what might be better for this is if you just make a circle out of it. Yep. Make a circle out of it. Fit it in there. That way you're covered. Do the same exact thing with the rest of them. When you guys are doing this, you know, one of the things is also being efficient, right? On time. And so, obviously you want to mask it right, but you don't want it to take a ton of your time, but you want it to come out as good as possible. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and mask all this up, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, now we're all masked up. As you can see, I got the masking tape on and we're ready to go. Everything is covered. We don't got to worry about anything getting in anywhere. So let's start off by shake it up a little bit. We'll start by spraying this aircraft remover paint. And you really want to get this on there really well, so you're not worried about, like, you know, the paint not coming off. Because if you get it on there really well and you let it sit for a bit, it's going to come right off. And this stuff is a little bit expensive, but it'll do the job. Let me just spray this and then I'll kind of come across and kind of show you guys. You want to get it really heavy where obviously the paint's really heavy. Alright, now let me show you guys. How we covered that. It's on there pretty good. And that's kind of what you want to do. You see, I didn't really get it heavy in the spots where the paint's already missing, but you gotta kind of get it heavy where it's not missing. Alright, now let's just let this sit for about 45 minutes. We'll come back to it. Alright guys, so pretty much this is after leaving it on for 2 hours. Most of the paint, as you can see, is started to peel. We're just gonna go ahead and get like a pretty hard plastic type brush and then just kind of brush it off. As you can see, I did a little bit of it here on this side, so it's coming off. I just need to add some water and now start brushing it off. As you can see, it just came right off, so it penetrated the paint pretty good. And let's start scraping it off now. Alright, now we've kind of already started scraping. You can already kind of see all this paint that's came off. Just need to scrub some more off here. Alright guys, so I ended up using this metal dishwashing type brush. It's like you just kind of scrub with it like this, and it made it a lot easier for the paint to come off because some of it was stuck on there pretty good. As you can see, we scrubbed it down and most of the paint is pretty much off now on both sides. Now I'm just going to take this into the industrial sink I have at home here, and I'm just going to go ahead and wash it. And then we'll come back to you guys with how it looks after it's washed. And yeah, if you don't have an industrial sink at home or whatever, you don't really need one. You can just use an area where you can just hose it down. You don't really need any type of special tools or anything. This can be completely done at home without any special tools. As you can see, I use this and so far the aircraft remover, paint remover. So it's working out so far so good. Alright guys, now we're washing it in here. I've got like warm water. You don't need like hot water or anything. I'm just using warm water, and it's coming off pretty well now. As a matter of fact, most of it is just coming right off. So that's pretty cool. Pretty happy with the results so far. Alright, then we're going to finish this wash up and get you a shot right after. Alright guys, so now we have washed it. Looks pretty good. There's just a couple of little areas where there's a little bit of paint left, but we're just going to go ahead and scuff this up with maybe some 1500 sandpaper. So that will get the primer to stick on good too. So we're almost ready for primer. So I'm just going to go ahead and scuff this up real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and spray the primer. Alright guys, now we're going to get this engine enamel primer. It's a high heat primer, dupli color. We're going to go ahead and shake this up pretty well. And you don't want to go too heavy when you're starting up. Just kind of get the base coat on there so you don't have any runs. So that's pretty good for like a first coat. Let that dry up a little bit and then just put on more coats after that. Looking pretty good. So far so good. Alright, we got about 3 coats of primer on there now, so now we're just kind of letting it dry out. Looks pretty good. We got pretty good coverage. Honestly, it took maybe about half a can of primer, so you don't need to get a super thick layer or anything. This is just so the paint can kind of hold on to the valve cover pretty good. So yeah, let's let it dry out, and then the next step is going to be to apply the wrinkle red paint. Alright, now we've got the primer put on, it's dried up. We've given it a couple of hours, and so it looks pretty good. It's hardened pretty well. Now we're just going to go ahead and paint it with some of this VHT Wrinkle Plus, because these Honda valve covers, they have kind of like a wrinkle finish, and it's a fire engine red. So we're just going to go ahead and spray a couple of coats, leaving like maybe 30-40 minutes in between each coat, and we're just going to paint this onto the valve cover, and then we'll be back with the final product. But let's start off with a first coat right now. Another thing is, you got to shake this up really well. First coat, you just kind of want to get it all around really lightly, because you don't want it running too much. And as you can see how this paint is kind of sticking on, that's exactly why you need primer. That's why it's not really running and holding on really good. And then, this is a wrinkle paint. It kind of has a flatter finish right now, but as it dries, it's going to get wrinkly. So this is good right now for the first coat. You don't want to go on there too heavy, like I said. So we're going to put on a couple of more coats in between 30 and 40 minutes, and then we'll be back.
guys, now the valve cover is painted and it's looking good. Came out perfect with the texture and everything. No issues here. Looking good. And looks brand new, you guys, for like under 30 bucks, you know. This is really an excellent job. Really happy with the way it came out. So once I sprayed it, I realized that once you spray it, if you just use the heat gun right after, it comes out pretty good. So yeah, this is it. The finished product right here. And let's see if we can get a snapshot of once it's in the engine bay. But pretty good.